By now, it shouldn't be a surprise to hear that good old Papa Palpatine is coming back to Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Today, I thought it would be fun to explore the various ways I think that could be possible, since the last time we saw him, he was falling to his death. I also got a ton of people asking me to cover it. So, is he still alive? Cloned? Reincarnated? A spooky ghost? Let's speculate. My current favorite theory that I've seen comes from one of our viewers, Vlacinda. They suggested that the voices or visions Kylo Ren is receiving from Vader's helmet aren't coming from Vader or Anakin at all, but they're actually coming from Palpatine. I like this for a few reasons, the first being that it would make Palpatine's return feel a little less out of nowhere. Kylo was begging the helmet to show him the power of the dark again back in The Force Awakens. People have been rightfully wondering why a redeemed Vader would be giving his grandson weird visions of power, but if it were actually Palpatine continuing to manipulate things from beyond the grave, it would make more sense. I do think there's a question of life after death, especially when it comes to the dark side. George Lucas insisted that the ability to become a Force ghost is a light side ability only. That's part of the reason Darksiders are so interested in prolonging life, because once they're dead, that's it. Or at least mostly. The book The Mighty Chewbacca and the Forest of Fear of all stories gave us a dark side user that was able to haunt one specific place after her death. The helmet of the ancient Sith Lord Momin retained some of his essence when he died and was able to possess anyone who wore it. The Aftermath trilogy book spoke of the power that masks held. One specifically is said to somehow hold the screams of hundreds of slaughtered innocents. So while I don't think Darkside users can continue on the same way a Force Ghost can, it does sound like they can haunt places or objects. They can have life after death, so to speak, but it's very limited. With Palpatine's death being at Vader's hands and his Force lightning going into the suit and all that, I can see there being a real possibility of some manifestation of Sidious being stuck inside that helmet, now manipulating Kylo Ren. I like that idea a lot, but there are plenty of other possibilities. Like I mentioned, we've seen an example of a Darksider haunting a specific location. We know the remains of one of the Death Stars is going to be in Episode 9, and if it's the second one, I could absolutely see Palpatine having some sort of manifestation at the site of his death. I am fully expecting that to be the second Death Star, since the Art of the Force Awakens book showed us exploration of the idea that Rey's character would be going into the battle station, and specifically the Emperor's throne room submerged underwater. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they revisited that idea. Maybe the Emperor's death created a dark side nexus similar to the caves on Dagobah or Ahch-To, which then provides a vision in which he could appear. Or maybe Rey finds a Sith holocron created by the Emperor. Or maybe there are holographic recordings of him. There are a ton of options that I think sound good that would include Palpatine without him having to be alive. And that's a sticking point for me. I have vocally been against the idea that the Emperor survived in Star Wars Legends. In the Dark Empire comic, he had clones of himself and he was able to transfer his consciousness from one body to another. I don't like that because I think the Emperor surviving diminishes Anakin's redemption and sacrifice. So I'll admit that while I'm excited for Palpatine's return, I also think there is a wrong way to do it. If we learn that he's been alive this whole time, I don't think I'll like that. I won't let it ruin the movie for me, but that just wouldn't sit well with me. So no clones, please, and no straight-up survival. Resurrection is a little iffy for me, but since it's been established by Momin in the Vader comics, I'm more accepting to the idea. But as far as I'm concerned, I think the best way to go about this is to have him be some malevolent specter that's been stuck in an object or location. Kinda like how Exar Kun was trapped in the Yavin Temple in the old Legends Jedi Academy trilogy. I like Vlacinda's idea because it limits Palpatine in power, but it doesn't necessarily stop him from being a manipulative monster, which is where I think his greatest strengths are. Power in the Force is cool and all, but power through manipulation is real and relatable and would have allowed Sidious to have a somewhat active role in the sequel trilogy even if it wasn't always apparent. But now it's time to hear from you guys. How do you think Palpatine will appear in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker? How would you prefer to see him? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.